what you see, and we're going to go around the table, and I'm going to have everybody give me a little example of what you're doing, because there's going to be a few days of downtime before you engage anything else. You all need long rests. The people of the 10 towns need a little more mundane help from their heroes, in the immediate future, because there's too many people and not enough places for them to sleep warmly. But what you observe is that a lot of the people who came to the aid of Bryn Shander and the refugees of the other 9 towns have lingered and tried to offer what help they can. Avarice and her Black Knights have decided to take up a vigil, like a watch around the town to keep invaders from coming. One of the major concerns is with so much carrion on the field, so many dead bodies surrounding the 10 towns, is that it might attract scavengers. And even frozen, the beasts of the 10 towns know how to find fresh meat. Mm-hmm. So they take up a watch outside of the city. Their own tenants don't allow them to mingle with the common folk, but, they're not complete bastards. They wait outside to make sure that nobody else is getting in, including invisible dwarves, which is, something that even though they've been defeated, everybody's still got that nightmare in the back of their mind. Nerth and Captain Scath, and their Black Network Targos guards, stick around to help supplement the guards of Bryn Shander, who are now overworked and with no rest in sight. So they're spelling them. And, you even catch Nerth and Captain Scath themselves, sharing their share of the rations, the hot food, with the people who have been displaced. Not just the Targos people, whoever. Captain Scath is standing a watch post and not just, being a boss. They're all doing it. And if approached about it, they will be quick to give you the idea, not to get the wrong idea that what they do for the Black Network is based upon the trade that happens in Bryn Shander. So if there's no Bryn Shander, there's no point in them being here. So this is only benefits them. That's the only reason they're doing it, is because it benefits them. But they say that at the same time you catch Nerth sharing a hot bowl of stew with an orphan, and Captain Scath trading war stories with Sheriff Markham while they raise a glass to their fallen allies.
Yeah, Nerth is not the speaker just because he's clever. He's actually good at it.
And you get the sense that regardless of the fact that he's making money off of these people, and often at their, to their detriment, he's patriotic in the same way that all of these people are the hard, individual people of the 10 towns, the hardy frontier folk that band together during times of trouble. He's one of them. He has his own side shit going on, but when a threat came, he stood with the rest of them.
Yeah. Your music, by the way, is either silent or very quiet.
It's very quiet. You see a lot of in every
terrifying.
Every tavern is basically every seat's taken. It's packed shoulder to shoulder because everybody's trying to get in where it's warm, and you catch a lot of the people, the common folk, fishwives and hunters and candle makers. They all are in between raising glasses to the people that they know that have fallen. They're also sharing a smile with each other because, hey, we survived and a lot of people didn't. And, they all are quick to recognize you as the heroes of the 10 towns, but everybody's got their story of, there was a dwarf hiding in my basement and I clocked him over the head with my lantern, or, I shot an arrow at the dragon and I'm pretty sure I hit it, and everybody cheers. They all have their own stories. Nice. Some of it's grandstanding, but it makes everybody feel better to hear it.
Of course.
Quietly, when most of the town is asleep, you will catch Valin, who has made fast friends with Anon, who is living in your basement, basically. And she has, without being asked to, put her magic to use, and has raised a couple of zombies off to the side where nobody can see, bound them up in winter clothing so they're unrecognizable, and just has them going out in the night to start putting the corpses to rest so that there's no scavengers coming to find them, pulling apart piles of rubble just in case there's anybody underneath, that sort of thing, doing the menial labor that's too cold and too dangerous for living people to do. She's, she'll go out on a night and she'll go to East Haven, or she'll go to Bremen and put her zombie crew to work, just, sifting through the rubble, looking for people or trying to help out the best she can.
If I can jump in real quick, that's actually one of the things that I wanted to do.
It seems like a good time for it. Let's go around the table, starting at Ben, counterclockwise, and just give me a little short story about what you do during this downtime after the dragon attack.
There are a couple things that Koos has been very in tune with since the adventures began, and one of them is he seems to have some sort of understood rapport with the owlbears that plague the area. And so in the evening hours when the owlbears are out to feed and mate, Koos Balad will go out with Nyanthai, cast Beast Sense, and find owlbears and kind of persuade them to take what they need and leave, rather than going into the city for warm food.
Okay. That's good. That's helpful. Makati the body.
Good escape.
I did that to myself. I am not unfamiliar with death, being sort of like a shadow sorcerer and having that very like on the veil kind of vibe. It's thick in the air here, but
oh Lord,
keep going. You're good.
But like the pall of like the thinning of the veil is like very thick here, and Makati sort of like acknowledges that, and understanding that he's like a pretty like scaly looking dude, just in the sort of background, offering what aid he can as well. Maybe not like with the zombies. I don't know. Maybe not with the zombies, but offering aid where he can in this sort of celebration of standing atop the veil, with all of this celebration of life on one side and all of this horror on the other.
All right. Zevian, I think, will lean into what she does best and try to, serve as the diplomat / go-between. I'm sure there's going to be a lot of disputes about what land has been destroyed, what's owed to people, for instance, from this whole thing. She'll try to... I'm putting it in very vague terms, but I think she's going to just try to be like an ambassadorial property manager for people, to try to help get their lives coordinated back on track.
And I'm going to come back around to you because I have something specific in mind for what Zevelin's doing, but if that's it, we'll move on to Sai.
Sai's doing two things. Seeing the necromancer at least raise zombies, he will assist with his 4 to help with disposal of the dead. And then the second thing he's doing is he's in the downtime wanders off, speaks with animals, and sends a messenger to the guild that he was off to go collect dues for, just to let them know that what happened, and that to get guild permission to see if they still need the dues or if that funds can be spent for
put the
rebuilding, because
currently there's no dues coming.
If the town's not there, do I need to collect dues for that?
Well, the guild's not getting any money from the places that are destroyed, right? So you get reinvested to make that money.
That's pretty much what I'm getting at.
Kind of the same thing as Nerith. Like, if there's no towns, there's no money to be made. So it's in everybody's best interest to protect what's left.
Yep.
All right. You will be awaiting a response from them. And Una.
Una is... at first it starts with the refugees from Goodmead, and it sort of gets larger and larger from there. But she... begins focusing on reuniting families, particularly with Goodmead, because she knows most of these people. So she can tell, she can look at a family group and be like, okay, this person's missing, this person's missing, this person's missing. So she's just going from tavern to tavern, anywhere there might be people, and trying to match everyone up with people who have been lost.
Gotcha. Zevelin, I told you I was going to come back around to you. One of the things that your diplomatic skills are able to do to benefit the town is that a day or two on after the dragon's been destroyed, dwarves from the valley under Kelvin's cairn come to offer their aid to the humans. They weren't aware of the dragon attack at the time, being underground, so they only heard about it after the fact. But now that they know about it, they're here to render what aid they can. And through their discussions with everybody, with you and with the speakers and all that. They learn about Sunblight Citadel, where Zardarok had set up his forge and built the dragon, and being that is a warm, defensible place that doesn't currently have an occupant, they are offering to bring refugees who are displaced without a place to live across the tundra to Sunblight Citadel so they can set up a semi-permanent housing situation there where it's warm. But being that
quite reasonable.
Being that you conquered it, it is technically yours to dictate what happens to it. So, being diplomatic, I'm sure you can work out something with the dwarves, but that's what you spend a lot of time doing is who goes where, and it's tough because you're a drow diplomat dealing with surface dwarves. There's, obviously some racial enmity there.
There is tension, no doubt. I think realizing that, I think Zev would understand, would sort of at least appear to defer to the dwarves as a familiar, still foreign, but also familiar face for these people to trust that sort of plan. The logistics, she'll even say that's much more of a dwarven strength than hers anyway. So she will help facilitate that. What she would specialize in would be, of course, the distribution of political power amongst leaders of the 10 towns and probably helping out, assuming we have some sort of blueprint of the place, or at least an idea of it. It would be important to have every former 10 town to have their cultural aspects preserved, and they probably want to stick with their own people. So, creating space for people to rebuild, at least on a microcosm level within the fortress, could prove helpful. And from there, they can start coordinating the logistics that I mentioned, like building supplies to get their stuff back, reestablishment of defenses, all that.
That fortress also has access to the Underdark, which might be relevant to your interest as well.
That's true. Though I'm not sure how I'd use it at this present time.
At the present time, maybe not, but you had started out in level 1 and 2 wanting to establish trade between the Underdark and the surface world. And now you're going to have a whole shitload of people that are living right on top of a rift into the Underdark.
That's true. So, with Menzo Baron's End being destroyed, I don't really know how much my House of Fey Branch really has to spare for resources from the surface.
Well, I
may just be kind of a dead end for them.
I will tell you where, as far as banding about political power goes, where it stands is they have decided that, some of these towns were more destroyed than others. And some of them, the refugees all want to go back and rebuild. Others, it's going to be a project for after the long night is over, they've been saying. So among the people banding about for whatever power they can grab, is Oris Mastu, the town speaker for Tourmaline. That's where the gem mine was. And his town is one of those towns that, we have no hope of rebuilding until after the winter is over. The damage they saw before they evacuated was just insurmountable. The other is Avarice and her Black Knights. She is seeing the handwriting on the wall that the other speakers are more falling in line with Valin's camp because she is the one associated with the heroes of the 10 towns. And she knows that this little exercise in goodwill that she's putting out right now is only going to get her so long. So she is also trying to throw whatever weight she has politically behind the idea of her and her Black Knights going to take the fortress, the Sunblight Citadel, and under the auspices of we are better equipped to protect the people there.
I think, that does relate to another avenue that Zev can suggest to the people of the 10 towns of it may be a while. We don't even know when the winter's going to end, if it's going to end. At the very least, you have a place that's more southerly, that it's very defensible because of the mountains. And you know what? You could say you just found your own new city there around the Citadel. You could just build around there.
So whose political camp are you throwing your weight behind?
I don't trust Avarice. I don't know her, so I'm going to have to go with the people here because this is more conducive to Zev's diplomatic mission anyway, and as well as her ideology.
All right, then that's going to be a persuasion roll, and I will allow somebody to help Zev.
It's not going to be me.
Whoever's...
Oh, I could. I got +3 on that now that I'm a charisma character.
Oh, there you
I
go.
appreciate that.
Yeah.
Just stand there and look creepy.
She's like,
Well, I mean, you're doing end of life celebrations, which, you know, even though you're doing it in a creepy way, I mean, these are creepy people. So
Yeah, those fucking
They were
10
creepy people. They're
towers
dead now.
well, no, it's more of like a, you know, there was such a significant amount of death, we need to restore balance to the life side. Like, it's all of a balance. That's Makati's whole thing. It's all balance, life and death. You can't have one without the other.
yeah, there you go.
And I suppose the argument that Zev would present is the appeal of this would be that you would be an independent, acting nation, effectively. And you would not be beholden to the interests of anything but your own. And as you have shared a whole heritage, collectively, of interests of what was known as the 10 Towns.
Give me that roll.
You may trust yourselves much more than... But where was Avarice from? Elusk?
Yeah. She's from the Arcane Brotherhood, so she's from Aluskan. Yeah.
Right. So in this instance, you may dictate the terms to foreign interests rather than have them doing the same for you. So there we go. Yeah. Okay. So that's an 18 with the advantage.
Oh yeah.
18 on the die before.
Oh, yeah.
So
Yeah,
27.
Oh yeah, plenty. So Oris Maskew has the political pull with your assistance, and he will be taking over Sunblight Citadel, and Avarice will probably retreat back to Kaer Konig for now. Once that is all completed, and you've spent a couple of days getting your long rest, if you haven't recorded it already, and helping the people out here, you're approached by Valin. And she wants to sit down with you in your home, someplace private, and discuss strategy. And she'll come to you and say, well, before the dragon attack dominated our present mind, we were discussing the possibility of trying to recover my Professor Orb so that I can continue my work into the Netherese Empire, because I want to learn more about their ability to control weather. I think it could mean the end of this eternal winter, which is the root of all these people's problems. The Duergar and their dragon construct won't be the last evil that the people of the 10 Towns have to face if the sun doesn't rise on Icewind Dale again. Myself and the other wizards of the Arcane Brotherhood came here in order to research this Netherese Empire, their flying cities, and their magical artifacts, and then shortly upon our arrival, our competitive nature took over, and we went our separate ways. I have an idea of where my apprentice, Nas Lantimir, was when she found herself in Icewind Dale, though I would not set out across the tundra without a specific heading. I've been in contact with Nerth Maxildenar, who, if you didn't know, maintains a small hatchery of flying snakes, and he's offered to use them in order to help me scout the area and find a good heading. While we're waiting for his intel, I believe you received some information about one of my former colleagues, Dazan?
Dazan, yes.
What can you tell me about what he was doing?
Dazan was sent to go retrieve some type of writings or research for his master, who apparently went mad and killed other hirelings.
I'm going to correct you. That was Dazan that did that.
That was Dazan that did that? Who's the one that we met in the first adventure?
I forget his name, but he was an apprentice.
Oh, I thought he was Dazan.
No, that was Dazan's apprentice.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
Retcon.
Dazan is the murderer?
Dazan is the murderer. You also saw him get burned at the stake.
Began with a Z. But yeah.
Yeah. All right, well, in that case, retcon. Yes, what we heard was that Dazan went mad and murdered his own hirelings after they were investigating a ruined site. We thought we'd take a look ourselves to make sure that there's no more imminent danger as these poor people are trying to return to rebuild their homes.
Dazan was always a dedicated researcher. I'm sure whatever information he found that caused him to hire people to go check out ruins was probably founded in some sort of fact. Do you have a location?
We do.
What would you need?
We already have a sled dog team. We already have a sled. One sled's enough for our party. Food and resources I think we have as well. Mm-hmm. Do we really need anything else?
There's likely arcane magic at work here that might affect our minds. We could use any protection you can provide against that.
What can she provide against that?
I take it that Dazan was not the murdering type before this happened.
Dazan is a reformed, and I use that term lightly, Red Wizard of Thay. Murder is quite within his skill set.
Indiscriminate murder, though? We couldn't discern any reason for him to have killed the hirelings.
No, he would not have killed, especially in such a public manner as you described, unless he had either reason or lack thereof.
Well played.
Thanks, I came up with that myself.
That was actually really slick as balls. I say. No, not really.
And Angela Lansbury comments on how you just like slick balls.
9 tight swipes right.
This hoof.
Takes them right off. Ah!
She does not have any spells that would protect you from being...
Commercial.
It's just not a lot out there.
Yeah.
Especially not that... There's one that's really high level that I don't think she'd want.
Like mind blank.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, let me cast my 8th level spell.
Yeah.
That's fine. I figure it would be in character to ask, and hey, you never know.
Yep.
No, her suggestion is I have no material goods or associates I can offer you in that instance. However, I encourage you, if you feel the madness creeping over, then to abandon your quest before it puts you into the same the same position as Dazan.
I think back to when we fought those at that trial for the ice giant. We may need something to detect something that is unseeable to the naked eye. Invisible things, if you will. We can't always rely on you being there, Kuzbalad.
I can.
I rely on you.
I mean, if he dies, then that's a different problem. It's just a different obstacle to overcome, right, guys?
It is better if a resource like that is available to everybody. That way we have eyes everywhere.
On our hands, on our feet, in our belly button.
Antennae, whatever you may have.
They have a 9-eye.
She might be able to help you with
Scales
this.
and tendrils.
And watching me 9-eye. Thanks for laughing, Brian.
I'm sorry I did it. Let's see.
While he's looking that up, I would say I think back to the time that we were performing the investigation in our basement, and the sounds that the creatures were making were causing us intense discomfort. Maybe just stick some cloth in your ears.
Of course.
Because like the sirens.
So she has no ability to grant you true sight, which I think is what you're fishing for.
Or see invisibility.
Yeah.
Which is a lower level spell.
Yeah.
Possibly in scroll form.
What she could do, and this would be a big one. It's not going to help you with that, but it might help you in something else, and she's willing to offer it to you as payment for going on this errand. A scroll of arcane eye.
Oh, that's huge. Yeah.
Wait, it's a giant eye?
It's an invisible eye that
You create an invisible magical eye within range that hovers in the air for the duration. You mentally receive visual information from the eye, which has normal vision and dark vision out to 30 feet. The eye can look in every direction. As an action, you can move the eye up to 30 feet in any direction. There is no limit to how far away you can move. The eye can move, but it can't enter another plane of existence. A solid barrier blocks the eye's movement, but the eye can pass through an opening as small as 1 inch in diameter. Concentration up to an hour.
And I think either of our spellcasters here would have to cast it.
Yeah, we can figure it out.
All right.
You just open the scroll and go, yeet.
Were you about to say something, Kaylee?
No.
Okay.
I was gesturing to Ben because I need a bottle opener.
Gotcha.
Please, help this woman open her beer.
I suppose, well, it's not really a beer, so I feel kind of guilty doing this. But...
It's a juicy peach.
Thank you, my love.
Oh. Honestly, you might want to use the other one. That one kind of sucks.
Well,
You bitch.
Yes.
she was your wife before you.
Yeah, well.
He's got white knighted.
The Adam and Eve bottle cap opener that I got 700 years ago from my friend Emily.
Oh, no wonder it's so short.
Yeah.
So she'll offer you this scroll as sort of payment to go. In addition, as assistance if you need it while you're there.
That's big.
That's sick.
And this is, we're going into another, allegedly Netherese thing.
Yes,
right?
this is it in Dazan's notes that you were granted as part of his estate, the belongings that were on him when he was seized, were a bunch of his notes, his spell book, which I also gave you all the spells for, which I think you gave to Valen.
So too.
Sounds right.
And all of his research on this location, which
As the way to mend fences.
Actually, we gave the spell book that Sai had looted from the dead guy.
Oh,
on the
Melthoron,
dragon.
yeah.
Which is a much more valuable book.
Yeah, that's a 10,000 gold spell book easily.
Yeah.
But you were able to get the location of what Dazan had titled in his notes, the Lost Spire of Netheril. It is sort of due east of Caer Konig, northeast of East Haven. You have to pick one or the other because you have to go around Lake Dinishire to get there.
Okay.
Yeah, so probably through East Haven because we know it was attacked, but we don't know what state it was in, and there might still be refugees there.
And there are plenty of people from East Haven who, given the lack of living situation in Bryn Shander, who are eager to go home and see what they can do about fixing up their city.
Sure.
So, they'd be happy to travel with the heroes of the 10 towns, which is what they call you now, regardless of the fact that 10 towns no longer stand.
All right.
That the region is 10 towns, you're the heroes of 10
All right, so I've got one question and one more suggestion then.
Yes.
So the question would be, in my readings of Netherese stuff, studying the language and everything that I've done here, did I get any read on a specific theme of magic that they used? Or anything of the sort that might point us to potential dangers?
The Netherese Empire were a mighty mageocracy that studied all schools of magic. So, no, nothing specific.
In my experience with the mages of Sorcerer, they like to make other things do things for them. And I kind of glance at Valen, like kind of alluding to her undead companions. This is not meant as an insult, of course. It is simply a theme. We should have something to contend with animated or summoned guardians. Or at least be aware of them. As to what this is, I have not the foggiest, unfortunately. My other suggestion would that if this place is very old and in disrepair, we will need ample supplies to prevent falls, to climb up walls, and yes, I know you have your goat, Uspalad.
Walls, falls, and balls.
And whatever other safety measures might be involved in such a thing.
I just kind of tug the strap on my backpack. Like, yes, that is.
That's
all I do.
Everyone should have it.
Yeah.
Everyone should have a Kuspalad.
Everyone is granted 50 feet of rope, pitons and climbing supplies, and snowshoes if you didn't already have them.
Sweet.
That's on Valen's tab, who is no shortage of coin, it appears, and spreads it around for
There's also
you.
potions of climbing out there, which we, if available, we could get.
I know they're out there somewhere.
I can also cast Spider Climb.
Yep.
I also just climb.
My goal is not to diminish anybody's individual abilities, but to make sure that we have a good spread of versatility amongst the group.
I trust this group to spread.
They'll spread it all right.
And Zev will even say, because if whatever happened to this mage that we're talking about here, obviously put him apart from his hirelings. If any of us were to be put apart from one another, or to, goodness forbid, turn against each other, we should at least be ready. Any one of us should be ready to make a handy escape.
Makati.
You immediately turn on us.
You,
So maybe some like expeditious retreats or something like that.
You were not with the group when they encountered Dazan in East Haven being burned at the stake, so some of this is new
I'm
information to you.
Just happy to be here.
However,
Happy to be here, ready to work.
your draconic ears perk up when you hear the name of the Lost Spire of Netherrealm.
Your hole.
Yeah, sorry.
Your draconic holes, your draconic whispering eye opens.
Your spire is corrected.
It's winking.
The Lost Spire of Netheril is one of the places Mother has sent you to look for the black ice.
Oh no!
Yes.
I mean, oh yeah! Great, we have a lead! There's black ice there. That's probably why people are crazy!
Do you point this out?
There is black ice there. There is, like, she sent me there because there was black ice there, right? Not because like there was a suspicion of it.
Yeah.
So, fun fact, I have done a little field expedition to this aforementioned spire, and there was quite a significant amount of...
Well, I'm going to retcon you. You haven't been there personally.
Oh, I haven't?
No, you just received information from Mother.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So, there's some black ice there, we think. Do you think that may have potentially altered the mental state of Dazlan?
Considering the state that Zardarok Sunblight was in, I would say there is no doubt. Is there any way to protect against the influence of the black ice?
Don't touch it.
Physical contact does seem to be a huge part of it.
Check. What if we cannot avoid contact with it?
Kaylee.
Gloves.
Also, slightly... I'm sorry, that's a bit of a tangent. The dragon was made of Charlatan, right?
Yes.
Like bury it or something?
We gotta figure out what to do with that toxic waste at some point. This is sort of separate, but like Una will be like,
So there is a Sunblight Citadel forge that has a whole bunch of molten metal. If we could just dump it in like Terminator 2?
The dwarves would probably, if they'd have to transport it.
Yeah, we gotta transport it there.
And frankly, I would trust them at hauling heavy metal materials like that.
And diggy hole.
Yeah. 100%. They are the dwarves.
Dwarves are excellent at hole.
Pounding.
Hole, yeah.
Posting.
Pounding bearded holes.
But they could drop it right in through like where the dragon went straight up and out as a weapon. So you could just drop it in from the top and watch it fall like 200 feet into the lava.
And then it just splatters on all the refugees.
I'm going to be playing that song at an event later this year, too.
Diggy hole nest.
Yeah.
The dwarves would be happy to haul it out, and if you give them the lowdown on it, and the, what happens if you handle it too much directly, they'll bring up all their heavy forge gear, like their, asbestos-lined gloves and shit, so that they don't have to touch it
Geek
directly.
Fantasy has my gear.
Yeah.
Charlatan bad, asbestos good.
Yes,
I mean, if anybody was going to do it, it'd be dwarves,
Yep.
Lead-lined
That's
vests
for
and stuff.
breakfast.
Their hazmat suits.
Yep. They'll start to work on like a toxic waste decontamination process.
It's asbestos, not asworstous.
Damn it. I hate that made me laugh.
So they'll be pulling double duty then, and be hauling away that charnel and the dangerous remains of the dragon to the forge just to melt it down into ingots probably and stack it up in a closet and forget about it for 1,000 years.
Sure.
That's a campaign for a couple of years down the road.
Yeah, that's Icewind Dale 2 Electric Boogaloo. When it becomes Cyber Icewind Dale.
Icewind fail.
Icewind Dale 2. Oh no, we forgot to lock the doors.
So they will take care of that. Sai, anything for you before you depart?
Nah, I'm pretty cool.
We know, but are you doing anything?
No, just pooping.
We're all really cool. It's Icewind Dale.
Give him some coffee.
This whole meeting, he's just been slowly pooping.
Drinking coffee and pooping.
That would be a very goblin move to do.
Guys, we need to wrap this up. I'm almost done pooping.
We all look around like, what's that smell?
Cooked people, by the way.
So, last thing before we move on from me, before I stop hogging the spotlight, do we have a reliable means beyond just gloves to avoid contact with Charlotte?
Charlotte who?
Well, depending
Or
on
are we
the...
going like full Chernobyl?
If we're hauling it out, right? Animal skins, ropes, tie it off, tow it behind the sled.
Well, and the other thing that
Going into the tower.
Going into the tower, no. I was going to say, for the chunks, you actually have a very reliable means of moving it. You can levitate.
Yeah.
Yes.
If the tower is made of it, then we've got a bigger problem.
Then we just gotta guess.
And you
gotta get
don't
there.
know if it's made entirely of it or if there's some there. Like, you're not sure on the specifics. All you know is she gave you a couple of places to check out. This was a name that you remember being.
If it's entirely made of Charlatan, the dwarves already took it.
Could be.
And I did not go out there because it is
Shitty.
Scary.
far and cold, and around here is not that.
It's still very helpful intel, Wakami,
Yes.
so thank you.
So are you going to go through Kirkonig or you already said East Haven?
East Haven, yeah.
East Haven, that's a safer route anyway. It takes us out of the scope of Avarice and her
It
gang.
does, yeah. And it's a straight shot down the
Bitches.
Eastway, which is a heated, cleared road. So travel is easy.
And Una, did you have anything to say on that thing?
I just want to clarify, is it
Yes.
direct, like, skin-to-skin contact with Charlatan
Yes.
that fucks you up?
Or
Okay.
you could put it in your mouth.
Tattoo
or
it in your
anywhere
body.
else.
Or you could tattoo it in your body, which Zardarok did, and it made him go crazy pants.
He was fine.
Super
Okay.
good and cool for you. Tattoos are fun.
So it's kind of like mercury or lead, where you have to like ingest it or like get it into your bloodstream in some kind of way.
It needs to be direct contact. If you wear a barrier device, you're probably okay.
All right, so we'll just have to
No
just remember to
gloves
wrap
on
up.
the-
then.
Yeah.
Cold weather clothes will probably
One of
be
the
sufficient.
clothes, everyone probably, just in case it's a asbestos-like material, like, have,
Yeah,
like...
all the same shit you're wearing anyway because it's cold out.
Yeah.
Thank you for clarifying that.
So the journey from Bryn Shander to East Haven is largely uneventful. There's a lot of trepidation on the part of your fellow travelers because they're not sure what they're going to find when they get to East Haven. And, upon seeing the town, it's about as bad as anyone was expecting. The large portions of the wall that kept them safe have been demolished. Many buildings are destroyed with the dragon's radiant breath weapon. So, like, very straight laser beam, paths of destruction carved through towns, which means that there was a lot of burning, which is good. But, your house is either completely destroyed or it was untouched. And it's a lot of neighbors going, oh shit, my house was okay. But it's like when a tornado touches down. My house is fine. My neighbor's house is a pile of rubble. Mm-hmm. So there's a lot of, you can't really tell how bad the damage is at first blush. And, people rush in and start to try and figure out what's what and look for survivors and do their thing. And you were given one last chance to say goodbye to the people of East Haven before you set out across the shores of Lake Dineshire and northeast to the Lost Spire of Netheril, which is a fairly long travel. Not, super long, but it's going to be at least a day out from East Haven and a day back. You're looking at least one night's camp between here and there.
All right.
So what I would like is a group survival check. And Kus, since you are a survival guru, if anybody fails on their roll, you can offer one assist.
Cool.
Oh, and Zev can mastermind assist.
Mastermind, yes.
Aw.
I'll give advantage to somebody.
Non-natural 20.
27.
Nice.
I'm a lizard. I know nature.
Lizard's famously good in the cold weather.
Yeah.
I got 13.
13.
I also got 13.
Okay. And Sai?
Oh, I got a 10.
All right, you're going to get the Kuspalad special, and do you think maybe mastermind her?
Sure.
Okay, so you two roll again.
I got a 14! I did slightly better.
All right.
You're taking that 13.
So, as you travel northeast from East Haven, you encounter the things you expect to encounter. Cold, shit weather, snow squalls in the middle of the night, but no blizzards. You avoid the blizzards. It's not mountainous here, so you avoid avalanches, which is all good things. No sinkholes. The only odd thing you do encounter is there is a time when you're concerned about beasts, scavengers. You did your communing with the owlbears, and for however your gift works, you seemed like you were able to get through to them, but winter wolves and packs of mundane wolves are still a problem out here, and you feel like at some point, and Nyantai will even sort of, with his bestial instinct, sort of reassure you on this, that there's wild animals about. You're avoiding staying downwind of them or upwind of them, so you think you're okay, but throughout the day you're keeping one eye on your back because you have this strange sensation that you're being either hunted or you're just narrowly avoiding it. Mm-hmm. And as you approach where you think the Lost Spire is, you can see in the purpley greenish aura that's out, you can see where it should be. There's a small hill there, but you don't see any tower. And I would like, we'll call it perception rolls from everybody to see if you could figure out where you're going.
Active or passive?
I'm going to say active. You're actively looking for something.
Okay. I'll turn on detect magic too.
Okay.
Cold don't make the eyes work good.
I crit, so that's 20.
You crit. Okay. Anybody else?
I mean,
Beat a
22, sorry.
22? Anybody else?
21.
21? All right. So, Sai and Zev, as you start to get closer to this location that you expect to find something, you notice a lack of a tower. You're expecting to see like a tower, a wizard's tower, a parapet, something to denote the location where you're going, but all you see is this sort of subtle hill. And as you get closer, your dark vision can start to pick up that built into the side of this hill is a door not unlike you would expect to see in like a bunker. It's like a heavily fortified, sort of a 5-6 foot high door built into the side of this small hill of snow, but no tower attached to it. Just a door that seems to jut out from the side of this hill.
And I'm sorry, is the door thick? Is it like a hatch door, or is it straight up or vertical?
It is vertical. It appears that it would open either in or out, not up or down.
Okay.
And it's built with large stone blocks making up the door frame. So very kind of thick and blocky construction.
Does it look like we're looking at an upper portion of the tower and the whole thing's just buried in snow?
You're unsure.
So like a World War II bunker that hobbits built.
Yes, that is actually a very apt description. It is also black in color, and you are getting the background radiation that you're familiar from getting with Charlton, but not so much that you expect this whole thing is made of Charlton, just that there might be some used in the construction.
And detect magic picking up anything in
Yeah,
particular?
it's just that. That's really all you're getting.
All right, well, I'll point this out to people. Well, it's not quite the tower we anticipated, but it's a start.
It could delve very deep.
Maybe.
Is there a chance that the tower is in a cavern underground?
Quite likely.
Like, nobody ever said it was up here. I know towers traditionally, based on what I know, are above the ground like this, but I have seen some strange things here.
Could be an innie.
And yeah, well,
Maybe the wizard who built it was just confused about what 6 inches meant.
Right. 6 inches reverse.
This is Stonehenge all over again.
also when you get a tall structure where it's cold and windy, it's really shitty and cold and windy at the top of the structure. So the subterranean tower makes sense.
Oh, like the Western Air Temple. Like where it's like it's like pagodas but upside down.
I'll just inspect the door, I guess, and see if there's any traps.
While you're doing that, I want to check the area around the door, because we know that the apprentices came and went, and I'm looking for any indication that they, like, sprung a trap or got into a fight or...
Okay. Bless you.
Oh, God.
All right, so that sounds like it's going to be a...
I'll do
What are
it.
you looking for? Perception?
Survival?
I'll do
Survival?
investigation.
All right, survival and investigation. Give me that.
May I do an Arcana check while we're at it?
You absolutely can.
18.
18.
I crit. It's 29.
29.
18.
Is anybody trained in... 18, all right. Is anybody trained in history?
Yes.
You already made a roll.
Damn it! The one
Womp
time!
womp.
My passive history is 19.
No such thing as passive history, and I won't allow it.
All history is passive. It's already done. It happened.
Well, also, there's passive perception, which is like...
It's only so that you don't have to roll, so the DM doesn't tell you that there's traps by telling you to roll.
It's a time saver.
So here's what I'm going to do: is there are no traps. You do find a door.
Is it locked?
The door is not locked. As a matter of fact, it looks like somebody tried to close it and like latch it shut, but because of the buildup of blowing snow, it's, you know, have you ever tried to shut a door in the snow and the snow gets jammed up in the door jamb and you can't close it all the way? That's sort of what happened.
Okay.
You similarly find tracks in the snow. However, Dazan and his party were so long ago that their tracks are completely obliterated. There's no hope of finding them at this point. What you do find is what look like animal tracks. And I'll allow you to make a secondary nature roll to determine the actual beast that made them.
No, it's terrible.
All right. These look like they could be... You've been concerned about wolves this whole time. These look like they could be some kind of canine tracks. They're, 4 big toes with claws.
4 feet or 2 feet?
You're asking the right question. However, your nature roll does not support that kind of bullshit.
Fuck. I don't know. Do dragons smell good?
I don't know. They smell all right if they wear deodorant.
Like, I like, is that like, could I sniff for animals?
Not with your
Or
nose.
is that,
You
like,
have to
not a
do
vibe?
the tongue thing.
Okay.
Makati licks the air.
Makati's
Like some kind of fucking weirdo.
like,
Yes.
Are there any other creatures around, like birds or like small animals, anything like that?
In the immediate vicinity of the tower? Not that you were picking up. However, it's pitch black out here and very cold. So, The area you're in is just sort of blank white tundra. There's not a lot of trees for birds or burrows for small varmint animals like, weasels and shit that you'd expect to find in the 10 towns.
Okay.
So no animals really. The door is untrapped. You find no traps there.
Okay.
And with a quick cursory glance at how it operates and the fact that it can't shut all the way due to the snow that's built up inside the door jamb, you see that on the other side of the door is a ramp that leads down underground.
A steep ramp or one that could be reasonably be walked?
It is going to be a difficult walk. It is frozen over, slippery, and not only that, but it is not flat on the bottom. It is curved on the bottom.
It's a slide.
I jump on my shield.
Okay.
Hold on. Wait, I'm going to point this out to everybody first. First I'll wait for everybody to come back.
Zev, push me. Come on. Darth, let me.
I'm almost done investigating, Sai. Calm down.
Just let me.
Are you feeling suicidal?
No, this is fun.
That's where Sai comes from.
It's in his name.
Goblins.
Suicidal.
Makati and Koos, how are you doing? As she says, eager to get away from Sai's desire to die.
I will approach and say we should be quiet. There are many wolf tracks that come and go, and it looks like they're going in and out the door, right?
They are more like what you consider to be like sniffing around. They don't necessarily go inside the door, but they sort of go around. Like you can't see the whole hillside, but it looks like they're like going around and just checking out the area. And they're fresh enough that like you can catch them in
the last day or so.
Well, then we should get inside soon.
And we should keep it down.
Yes. As much as we can over this wind. The door is ajar. There is a ramp. I would dare say some sort of a slide.
Fun slide. Ugh.
A ramp. And Sai, he's very eager to go inside. I think he was peering over my shoulder as I was checking for traps.
Yep.
So, I don't think that's a good idea, as we may slide to our deaths.
Nyantai.
To an completely unexplored area. We do have that scroll, I must remind you, but we must decide where and when to use it, because it's a valuable resource.
How long does it last?
It's an hour, correct?
If it's an hour, then that's a lot of time. If it's like 60 seconds, we got to be careful, but if it's an hour, I'd say we just fire it up and go.
And then just take it with us.
I feel like it's an hour concentration.
Concentration up to an hour.
Yes!
Fire it up and then load the map onto the screen, I guess.
Yeah, let's do it.
But it's untenable for us to stay outside where wolves may ambush us at any moment.
Yeah, so there's a landing at the top, right? And then there's a slope down?
You're kind of standing at the landing. Standing at the landing, yes.
Yeah.
And then it slopes down. And...
So everybody in, we close the door behind us.
Okay.
As much as we can.
No, I'm sorry, I misunderstood. Once you cross the threshold, you're sliding.
Oh.
Yeah.
So we need to wait to stabilize ourselves, or at least to figure out what... a way to traverse down slowly without sliding on the ice.
Nyantai, myself, and Una are fine. So it's really just the three of you that need to use rope, and we can assist you.
Imagine using rope. Oh, God.
I've got Misty Step, so if I get close to the bottom, I can just poof.
If only.
You could put Sai on Nyantai.
Nyantai?
Scientai.
Because that's a great combination.
Does anybody...
Cyanide?
And I will supply lights. I'll cast dancing lights within the door so that wolves don't see it outside.
You're the only one who doesn't have the ability to see in the dark, aren't you?
I have 120 feet of dark vision.
We don't need any lights,
much.
actually. We're good.
Yeah, that's part of my shadow shit.
Light is helpful because you can only see shades of gray with dark vision.
I can't even see shades of gray, but I can still do it. So my suggestion would be either we fire the eye up, we hang out outside for a little while, and kind of make noise or whatever to get wolves to go away, or we send Nyantai in first.
They might come to us if we make noise.
We should make a decision one way or the other, so we stop farting.
Yeah, either one of these two is good, but
my
let's
goal
just
is to get people inside so they can assist with the rope thing, and then we should get inside where we can get roped.
The options are you either start descending into the tower or you send the eye in first. Kaylee, eye or slide?
Slide.
Slide.
You know what I'm doing, baby.
Slide.
Slide. I think the eye is too valuable a resource to use.
Slide it is.
Decision's made. So me and Nyantai will go first.
All right. And you guys can climb without making checks. Is that what I'm understanding correctly?
So I'll go shield. And I'll take the dodge action as I descend.
Okay. What you discover about this slide? First of all, give me a perception check. And you're going in without dark vision, right?
I have blind sight 10 feet.
Okay. Then don't give me a perception check. What you discover about the slide as you start to slide down it is it's not a direct slide into the next room. It actually, if you are entering here and the slide goes down like this, it actually hairpins.
Is it like a Plinko machine?
Comes around, yeah. Like a cut back or switchback. So you go about, 7-8 feet down, and then you have to lower yourself onto the next part of the slide and come around and down.
So climbing back out would be a real hassle because you can't just rope back up to the top.
Exactly. It's doable, but it's going to be a challenge for people that aren't as gifted in climbing as you are. You and Niantai can get down to the base part of the slide without a roll. Everybody else is going to require a athletics check. Which you can make with advantage if you're using climbing gear, which all of you are. So you can make it. Everybody can make it with advantage.
And they will be down at the bottom to check for threats and catch you if you fall.
Would acrobatics be acceptable alternative?
That's so amazing.
I will allow acrobatics without the advantage, if you think that's better for you. What'd you get? Cool.
Cool.
You want to know what the other one was?
What?
Nice.
The big one.
I was just checking my spider climb, but it's specifically for vertical surfaces, so I don't think it would.
I would allow it to work here.
Okay.
Just stick to the walls.
Yeah. You can spider climb if you want, and then you can make this without a roll.
Can I get a look down to see how far the fall is first?
Yeah, it's about 10 feet. It would be a d6 worth of damage.
Okay, so not too bad. Then I will.
It's a d6 worth of falling.
So I think the odds are in my favor. Then if I use the rope with advantage and do athletics at -1 to each of my rolls, because 2 dice is better than 1. Yeah, so that'll be 15.
15. All right. Sai?
19.
19. Makati, you are unable to keep your footing on the way down the path, and you end up sliding on your face and taking 5 points of bludgeoning damage as you fall ungracefully to the bottom of the chute.
Honestly, if you've ever been on a water slide at any water park ever, same.
And now that everybody is inside, even those with dark vision, I would like a round of perception rolls from everybody.
Ooh,
hey.
I stink, but Niantai's got an 18.
19.
20.
15?
16.
All right, good. You can all catch this, including you with Niantai. So.
Catch these hands.
The slippery tunnel opens into an upside-down room, the contents of which are coated in frost. Across from the tunnel is a wooden door that's flush with the ceiling, which used to be the floor. The door is ajar, and flanking it are 2 identical stone statues that hang down like stalactites. Across from the statues are sconces with upside-down flames burning in them. You are apparently standing on the ceiling of this room.
Is gravity, normal, or, is stuff... Woo!
Gravity appears to be normal. It just appears that this whole room is upside down.
Okay. Is the fire, burning, how,
It's shaped normally, but it's just burning from the ceiling down into the room instead of from the ground up.
That's freaky.
I want to grab a handful of dust or rubble or whatever from the ground, and I'm just going to cast it into the room to just see if it changes direction, if it goes the way we expect it to go.
It behaves as you would expect it to do. You throw it into the air, it goes for a certain distance, and then falls onto the floor, which is, clearly was the ceiling at one point.
What's the height of this?
It is 10 feet.
Somebody get on my shoulders. Oh, sorry, wrong character. He's dead.
The room is 10 feet between floor and ceiling. I do have to say the tunnel that you just slid down was a 5-foot diameter tunnel. So.
All right. Well, it's a room with 2 statues and a door. Trap person should probably trap it up.
I'll begin inspecting, moving my dancing lights around, get a better view of everything.
You have detect magic fired up, of course, because you're Zeppelin.
Actually, yeah. So that's what I have going instead of dancing lights.
Okay,
because it's more useful.
Detect magic will give you illusion magic from the 2 sconces. These flames are continual flame spells. It appears.
Actually, Brian, those are evocation spells.
I'm gonna get a beer.
Give me a wine glass while you're out there.
I'm not coming back.
So 18 for investigation of the room.
All right. No traps on this door or elsewhere in this room.
Okay, and other than the illusion, apart from the illusion magic, that's it.
Yep.
I mean, yeah. So anyway, and how many entrances? I mean, exits from this place are there?
There's
Besides-
one door that is directly across the tunnel from the tunnel that you slid down.
and nothing unusual about that door with the check.
Nope. Doesn't appear to be. It's just a standard wooden door.
It's also upside down, I imagine, right?
Yes, that is the other aspect of it, is because you are technically standing on the ceiling of this room, you have to sort of, either climb up and open the door and push it open and then climb over the top of the door to get to it. But it's flush with the ceiling and not with the floor. So there's going to be a little bit of awkward maneuvering to get around it.
I guess I should be the one opening the door because I can do it without having to get weird.
Samesies.
Yep.
Yeah, you can just climb.
I can just climb
onto.
onto. Well, I can just climb onto the ceiling.
Yes, you can.
Just-
Same.
Yeah.
I can do that too.
Open it carefully into the side, and Zev will just, she will have her, I can do the laser pistol thing here.
There you go.
There you go. Yeah.
It's probably super fucking loud in here.
Just, yeah, are they loud?
They are loud. They do make a sound.
Then I'll use my bow.
Yeah.
We all played Goldeneye. We know how loud they are.
And did we keep the items that we paid for?
I think you bought them, yes.
Yep.
All right, cool.
I think you sold your funny hat, but...
Yes,
Bought 'em and
we
got
did.
'em.
That's fine. I'll be fashionable in other ways. So, cool. Then I'll just take a ready action to shoot at any assailant that attacks our door openers here.
All right. Shoving the door open awkwardly from the ceiling, you find that it opens into a corridor. There are doors on either side, and what looks like a stairwell used to be on the end of the hallway opposite from where you're entering it from. However, it's choked with rubble and is impassable. Even with spider climb, you won't be able to get through that way. But there are doors on your left and your right as you enter this hallway.
Okay.
You hear and see nothing.
Yeah.
I will inspect them. Both of the doors. Is that 2 rolls, or do we want to make one?
You can just make one.
All right, 27.
No traps. in
The
this
hallway and doors.
hallway. Hallways, doors, none trapped.
Cool. Both are clear. I whisper.
If it happens to come into play, my stupid feat is a passive investigation of 15. So if I'm going into the party and I forget to check doors or whatever, that's where we're at.
Okay, sounds good.
Servant. Love that feat.
So you have a door to the left or to the right. Which one would you like to investigate? Or
Pick one, I take the other.
Left.
I take right.
Okay.
At the same time,
At the same time.
Like,
Oh, crazy.
Yeah.
we might be pincered in that event.
That's fine.
Una,
yeah.
I'll ready action on Una's side then.
you open the door to what appears maybe was a workshop. This room contains shattered and jumbled equipment, much of it near 2 heavy wooden work tables, one on its side, the other upside down. Kuzbalad.
Yes.
You open a door and you are assailed immediately by a smell in the air that you are familiar with. It is a distinctly magical odor.
Damn it, Sai. Told you to stop eating magic mushrooms.
But you would equate it with popping open a fresh potion bottle. It smells like that. The floor of this room is covered with shards of glass, frozen pools of spilled fluids, and the wreckage of 2 cabinets. In a niche of the far corner of the room, a metal chest is bolted to the ceiling. Its lid is locked.
Is everything still upside down?
Everything is still upside down.
Okay, just wanted to clarify.
But the upside downing does seem to have pitched some
Things probably weren't as anchored as others. Maybe the heavy stuff stayed at the ceiling and the not so heavy stuff fell on the floor.
Well, one of the workbenches was toppled and one of them is still pinned.
Well, they're both on what you would view as the floor. You're on the ceiling because you're spider climbing, but it appears that they have both fallen. One ended up on its side, the other one ended up upside down.
Oh, okay.
So maybe
It's upside down in the upside down room.
Yes, yes, exactly.
the larger fixture stayed in place, but the whole tower may have literally turned
just
like this.
Yeah.
And so all the potion bottles got flung off of the cabinets from the rotation, not so much from the gravity.
Yeah.
It's kind of what I'm getting. Or that's my read anyway. We experienced a mimic once upon a time in, I think it was Sunlight Citadel. We were scouting that out. So I'm just going to take the bow up. I'm going to stand in the mouth of the doorway. I'm going to fire an arrow at the chest and just see if it reacts in any way.
Okay, make an attack roll.
23.
You hit the chest, and it clanks off the side of the chest in a very, this is not a
Mimic kind of way. Yeah, it doesn't bleed. Okay.
Yeah.
Or scream.
It doesn't bleed, so you can't kill it.
Okay.
First, are we just gonna shoot every chest we see from now on?
Yes.
In places that are upside down and magical, yes.
Okay, cool.
Not
I'm
the
with
titty
that.
chest.
Not the tickle bitties.
But I will kind of wave you guys over and say there's a chest in this room at the far side. I don't see any occupants. No doors, right?
No. However, you do see a hole in the floor that looks like it proceeds further down.
The floor ceiling.
Yes. And also, I should have mentioned, Una, in your room, aside from these 2 tables that you saw toppled over on the floor, there's also a door as you enter the room to your right.
Okay.
So I say we check the chest first and then go through the door on Una's side.
Yeah, see what's in there.
I would.
Loot.
That's the room with the hole?
Yeah.
But wait, is the chest on the ceiling?
Yes.
Like,
Yes.
so how are we gonna, like, it's 10 feet up.
I can
Yes,
go
it
get
is.
it.
Perhaps we should save the whole room for later.
We've got chest and hole in the same room.
Oh, I thought I was talking about your room first.
No, I want to check the chest first, and then we'll go through the doors as it seems it's intended.
Gotcha.
So yeah, I could just go get it. I mean, if we're worried about that, I was going to call in Zev because Zev.
Let me check the chest. Yes, let me check the chest.
Okay.
And she will climb up there however she can.
And how is that happening?
Well, I can use my climber's kit.
Okay.
Does a mammogram.
All right. So make a tool check. I guess you're proficient in climbing, right?
I don't think you are.
No, I can be quick about it.
If you can do athletics, I can give you the assist and try and help you up there. But worst case scenario, I can just pop the top myself and see if I get trapped.
Well, does detect magic have anything in this room?
Let's see. There are more of these sconces, which are apparently radiating evocation
Yes.
magic.
Oh my god, I have a stupid answer. Here,
Appropriate
take this spoon. Now fly up there and go look at it.
Yeah, it doesn't require attunement, so yeah, you could do that.
Thank you, Goose.
It does require attunement, but I can tell it to do something, and it will do it for up to 1 hour and then return.
Okay.
So I tell it, go up there for like a minute.
Problem circumvented. I love it.
Yeah, that works.
Then in that case, yeah.
All right. Let's see. Where's the chest?